Two friends, two ships, and a battle. I'll be right back. During the War of 1812, a very interesting challenge came about. And it was a battle between two ships. An American ship, which was named the United States, which was captained by Stephen Decatur. Now, the United States was a heavy frigate. It had 44 guns. On the opposite side was the British ship, the Macedonian, which was led by Captain Garden. Now, the interesting thing is these two men, Captain Stephen Decatur of the United States and Captain Garden of Macedonian, became very close friends. So how did that come about? Well, before the war, during their journeys across the ocean, they would come across each other quite frequently. And so they would stop and they would chat and they got to know each other very, very well. And so it came up in discussion one day, what would happen if a war broke out between the United States and the Great Britain, and what would happen if our ships happened to come across each other in battle? Well, what a terrible thought that was. But Captain Decatur of the United States made it perfectly clear that if that happened, he would not hold back. And he would fight to the last man. And he said, it would not be good for any British frigate that would come up against us because we are so powerful and we are so strong. Well, war did break out. And as fate had it, the two ships did come across each other. As Captain Stephen Decatur and the United States were headed across the ocean, far off in the distance, a ship was sighted. Now, the excitement came over the United States crew because they were itching for battle. When you're a sailor at wartime, you're wanting to show what you can do in the midst of a challenge of a battle. Well, as the ship got closer, the anticipation grew even more. The captain said, "Can you make out who it is yet?" "No, not yet, Captain." A little while went by. "Can you make out who it is?" "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, it is the Macedonian." "Did you say it's the Macedonian?" "Aye, sir. It's the Macedonian." Couldn't have been any other ship but that. But he prepared them for battle. And as soon as the Macedonian came in range, Stephen Decatur gave the command to fire the guns. The guns went blazing and smoke enveloped the ships. One mast was down. The Macedonian was struggling now, and the United States continued to shoot. The guns continued to blaze, smoke continued to fill the air, and as the smoke cleared, it was obvious that the Macedonian was done for. The United States had won the battle. Well, as tradition, the enemy captain would come on the victorious captain's ship. And so Captain Garden of the Macedonian boarded the United States. And he presented his sword, which was as tradition, to present your sword as a surrendering to the victorious captain. Captain Decatur looked at his old friend and he said, "No, sir. No, no. Put your sword away. I would rather take your hand than your sword." And so they shook hands and embraced. And on the battlefield, the United States was victorious. But the friendship was also victorious. And as we think about where our culture is today and the challenges that we're having of political correctness and the challenges of racism and the challenge of people just not getting along, we need to think about those two foes back in the War of 1812. Yes, they were enemies based on what their country had said, based on the war that was enveloped. But their friendship lasted. And their friendship is what rose through the smoke, through the fog, and is what ended the day. Friendship first, friendship last. And that's what we have to think about. We can have political differences. We can have all these challenges that we may or may not agree on. But at the end of the day, we have to join forces and come together. That's the key. Look for the key and agree to disagree when we can't agree. But respect and friendship must always last. This is Mark Bowser. Thanks for listening.